exercise to work the hamstrings and the glutes, specifically the hamstrings, is going to be a Shelc. It stands for supine, hips elevated, leg curl. Supine simply means face up, laying down, and then hips elevated are going to be, we're going to drive our hips through before we even bend our knees and pull our heels into our glutes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're going to have 3 different variations. I've got a TRX. We're going to set it up in a normal fashion, suspended from the ceiling or suspended from the rack. And then what we're going to do is understand the higher we go, just like anything, the higher we go, the easier it is. So we're going to pull these nice and high just to give us the understanding that we can start fairly easy. Okay, so this is going to be something that we can probably use as the easiest variation, and that's why I'm going to start with it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to lay down, we're going to put our straps into our heels. Okay, so we're going to get it strapped in just like this. And then you can go ahead and you can step away from the bar just a little bit. Now from here, everything that we want to do is the first step always. Supine, I'm laying face up. Then we've got to get to a hips elevated position. So we're going to raise the hips up into the air. After we get the hips raised in the air, then we try to pull our hamstrings down into the ground, which raises my hips up even more. And I continue to get a straight line from my knees, through my hips, through my shoulder. And then I let it back out and roll it out. Pull it in, drive my hips up, and then let it out. Okay? So that's the first variation. Again, as you do this, you're going to notice the higher you go with the TRX, the easier it is for you because you're working less against gravity. The more you bring it down, the more your whole body is being pulled against, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So this is typically the easiest variation. So we're going to move now to the next tougher variation, which is going to be the stability ball. Same exact idea. Now, because it's down to the ground more, and the smaller ball would be tougher, we're going to do the same exact exercise. Heels up on the bench like it's in the stirrups of the TRX. Hips elevated. Bring that hamstring curl in. Everything continues to be raised. Straight line from the knee, hips, and then shoulder. And then leave it out. Now we can go single leg if we wanted to. And we can work single leg with that same exercise, which is a good advanced exercise using the stability ball. Continue to keep those hips elevated throughout. The third and final variation that some people have and some people don't is going to be slide boards. So you're just going to use these little slide discs. We have them in our wellness center. You can put them on the ground and they move on the turf. Okay, so what we're going to do is that same thing. Put our heels on the slide boards, lay down, supine, face up. What we're going to do is we're going to elevate our hips, and then we're going to pull in. Keep the hips elevated, and bring them back out. Elevate the hips, and then bring them back out. So 3 different variations that we could do. You could certainly move to single leg with this, which is probably the toughest of all the variations, which is a pretty special move if you can do that. All attacking the hamstrings, but working the glutes because our hips stay elevated throughout.